Ladies and gentlemen, we will now be reacting to a video. Maybe some of you know that video series already. Basically, Lufok in cooperation with quite... Thank you for the 150 biddies. In cooperation with quite some other players is doing an iceberg-themed TrackMania things with like a lot of TrackMania lore, basically. And part 3 out of 3 has just been released 2 days ago, actually. Looks like this, and yeah, we're gonna be watching that one now. It's 55 minutes long, so perfect until cup of today. So I would say we will take a look. And yeah, as I said already, it's basically TrackMania lore. Part 1 out of 3 was like things that many people still know. 2 out of 3 was then a little bit more in depth, and now 3 out of 3 is of course the most secret TrackMania lore, which not many people know about. Not even me, I guess. So I would say we will take a look at this. So first of all, of course, check out Lufok guy. He's uploading really great videos. So I'm gonna, you know, wait, actually, you know what? Guys, leave Lufok a follow. He's doing some really great videos. Not only the iceberg videos, but for example, also this one I watched was really, really nice. So make sure to follow the amigo. He does some good content. Alright, let's watch the video. Zack. So. Let's see.
Hello and welcome to the third part of this trilogy. If you haven't watched the 2 previous videos, I really recommend you to go check these, because they give the minimum information to fully understand this one, without taking any...
True, actually, if you haven't watched the part 1 and 2 yet, maybe watch them before you watch this reaction. Maybe I will also upload this reaction to YouTube, you will see.
Let's finally deep dive into the bottom of the TrackMania iceberg.
So the most secret lore stuff things. We have. Yeah, I cannot pause that often, otherwise we won't make it till cup of the day too. Okay.
We started the last third of the dive, and information here will start to be strange. We passed the whole iceberg, and the abyss is getting closer and closer.
From here, from what I see, I know a lot of things still. Louder?
Texture holes.
Texture holes.
Among all the maps from Nadeo, some rare maps contain holes in the textures. Some of them are caused by update bugs on BO3 on TM2 Stadium or DO2 on Canyon. Some of the holes are directly caused by a block with this issue, like the beach blocks on Turbo. Even the fake water on TrackMania Original and TrackMania United can be considered as texture holes. Canyon has many texture holes ranging from missing hole faces to just some missing vertices. Example of missing faces are the red booster concrete block when placed on the ground, and the banked wall ride corner when placed on top of the long concrete tunnel roof. An example of missing vertices is the tunnel corner clip. Blocks have 2 versions, a lower quality version, which can be displayed once the player is at a certain distance away, and a higher quality version for when closer.
Should I turn on subtitles, guys? Is it so hard to understand? Also, is it not loud enough? Like, for me, it's hella loud.
Both versions of the blocks have the issue. Some other holes are caused by block clips overlapping. Even though the blocks can be loud enough, placed in the simple editor, the clip placement isn't considered. This is how you can get clip mixing such as DO2 on Canyon.
Posing is cheating.
Multiple high-profile players have been shadow banned from TrackMania Turbo, making them
come on, guys! We don't have time for this!
Able to submit their time to the leaderboards. The only known cause of this is when a player pauses during a run that ends up being a world record. Luckily, these players can still collect both medals and super medals while being shadow banned.
Okay, didn't know that, but I'm not in the TrackMania Turbo
won't shadow ban a user. However, driving a top 10 time with a pause causes the time to be removed. Pausing in these games is beneficial because it allows for a consistent 1-tick release. While uncommon, there are a handful of tracks where pausing is super effective, such as Lagoon D11 and Turbo tracks 1, 28, and 46.
People actually pausing during a run.
Le Gigantesque Elephant.
That was a player. I know that.
Le Gigantesque Elephant, also known as just Elephant, is a player known for his behavior. In fact, many people remember him for his naive or aggressive way to talk to people. He used to come on servers and was described as very annoying, but in a
what did he type?
Way to
I don't give a fuck, bruh. I have other account. I'm proud your
talk to people.
Okay, never mind.
He used to come on servers and was
it's just toxic, not funny toxic.
But in a way that you couldn't tell if he was trolling or not. He was obsessed with some pro tech players like Spam and constantly asked them to play his tracks. He even did some
I remember that guy was weird.
Players to prove he is better than them, and when he eventually lost, he blamed it on the game. He got banned many times from TrackMania, TMX, and Twitch. Nadeo banned his accounts, his IP, and even his hardware, but nothing could stop him from coming back. Many players also described him as a good guy inside, with him attributing his odd behavior to mental problems.
Okay. Okay, I didn't know that much about it. Oh, I know that.
Moon and Toy are unreleased environments that are found in the game code from TrackMania 2. No footage has ever been officially released of either of these two environments, and they remain non-existent. It is assumed they were scrapped early in the development process.
Moon and Toy. Yuck. I know that as well.
With a game series aiming to be as international as TrackMania,
oh my god, the German
cars.
There are
mistakes with the flags and the official cars that come with them. Most mistakes go unnoticed unless you look carefully at them. Here is a non-exhaustive list of the most obvious fails.
Yeah, the fucking German skin has the Belgian flag on it.
Flag on its number
plate.
In Nations Forever, the Brazilian flag is upside down on the right-hand side of the car. This is partially fixed in TrackMania 2. They flipped one of the flags on the car, but not all of them. Many flags have the coat of arms present when they shouldn't. Examples of this include Luxembourg and Venezuela. In the game files for TrackMania 2, the Republic of the Congo is mistyped as COG instead of CGO for its flag. In TrackMania Turbo, the Gambia car has the name of another country, Gabon, that was left by accident just because the two names are similar.
Yuck, Nadeo. Oh, I know that as well. In Coast there are rainbow blocks.
There were hidden blocks in Coast and Desert, the most notable of which were the Coast K set of blocks. These are mostly normal.
They are really cool. They look really cool.
The center of them is
very look at this.
Bright and has a trippy rainbow texture.
Fucking
Another
rainbow.
Hidden block is the Coast Render Cube, which is a small mirror block without any collision mesh. There were 3 variants of a desert downhill block that increase its steepness.
The right one is the original, and you have like giga steep ones. They don't even make sense. Like they literally go up like this. It makes like no sense.
When Limiter was released, this could be accessed using a program called Challenge Edit, which was used for early forms of block mixing.
Oh my god, Challenge Edit. Who of you remembers that? Jesus Christ.
Stadium physics.
Oh, that's cool as well. Virtual upload. Probably many people know about this because Virtual made a video about this.
Feature that the game renders in order to calibrate settings automatically according to your graphics card. However, the bench ghost in ESWC is unlike any other.
It's kind of interesting.
It has physics that are a lot different to the stadium physics we know today.
It's like beta stadium physics basically.
If you would like to give this physics a go, there is a video linked in the description.
Dev World Records.
In
most of the TrackMania games, if 2 or more players have the same score on the leaderboards, the first player to achieve it will be placed as first. This works not just in Time Attack, but in other game modes as well. In TMU campaign, for example, there are leaderboards for the number of respawns to beat a level, meaning there are thousands of tied 0 respawn records. Since the first player to achieve 0 respawns is on the top of the leaderboard, many platform maps have Alanoa, a developer at Nadeo,
fucking highest world record.
Typos.
Highest world record holder.
Across all TrackMania games, there are a lot of typos in pretty much every language. While the studio is French, there are French typos in TMNF, such as Félicitations, meaning congratulations, where a T is missing. Same for Pro-Dial instead of Profile. In TrackMania Turbo's credit, you can find Buznies, a couple of double spaces.
Buznies! That sounds kind of Russian. Buznies!
Still contains some minor typos.
Yuck. That's true.
438A-0.
Oh. The easiest Nadeo map ever.
The first track in TrackMania Nation ESWC and consists of a start block, an S-curve, and a finish block.
This is literally the Nadeo map.
Extremely simple, it has been considered max by the TrackMania community as a whole, with the absolute minimum time being 4.39.
And I think TAS has actually done a 4:38.
TMNF and
Didn't it?
Stadium. In fact, the only 2 videos claiming to have 4.38 are jokes from known players. However, in 2021, with the release of the TAS tool, people started to wonder if an 8-0 run could be brute forced enough for it to reach 4.38. A few people tried and the idea was dismissed as well, but a TASer named Glitched believed in a 4.38 and was probably the only one to do so. He started around September 2021, and while he was constantly told by the
absolutely
yak
hunting this map,
he actually managed to make an 8-0 TAS with a time of 4.38999939889647, proving it possible in TMNF. The best times are all at 4.390, so the 4.38 has been theorized.
The Coast Zoop Slide.
This was interesting. This is what we talked about yesterday during Cup of the Day.
It is possible to perform a trick known as the Zoop Slide by placing your car at an acute angle, that is to say below 90 degrees.
It's like bug slide, but it's not really bug slide.
Performed in Stadium. Unlike Stadium, though, brakes are not required to perform the Zoop Slide on Coast.
The fun thing is, this was discovered on a map by Marius.
This trick is used on rare occasions to get
during a competition, which I actually played in back in the days in 2019.
Nadeo map's thumbnail change. In the TM2 games, if you open the Nadeo maps in the editor, you can make some changes, such as changing the mod textures loaded on the map to a snow-themed one, and the author of the map will remain the same.
Oh, I didn't know that.
This means that on the campaign menu, the thumbnail for the map will actually change to accommodate for what the new map looks like.
Interesting. Didn't know that.
Uploads after Scandal.
Oh, Riolu? Ah, yeah.
One day after the cheating report was published, a
Wait,
video
virtual?
suddenly appeared on Riolu's Clips channel. While many were anticipating a response
of course
to
he's doing the Riolu
allegations, the video was in fact nothing but a short clip that was scheduled to be uploaded a few days earlier. And while he never addressed the cheating scandal, the comments and likes to dislikes on this video definitely reflected what people were thinking of him at the time.
Shootmania Creo.
Okay, no idea about
Shootmania.
Shootmania.
Planet, Nadeo announced a collection of 3 games: TrackMania,
okay, that I know.
And Shootmania.
Questmania,
the shown in the original Mania Planet trailer being Shootmania Cryo. Shootmania would eventually release with the Storm environment, and nothing official has ever been published about Cryo. It was meant to be set in a seemingly snowy environment with tunnels and underground mapping capabilities. Not much besides some fires like these in the
It's also such a Nadeo thing to do. Such a Nadeo thing to do, to start developing things and never end it. It happens so often, it's crazy. What is Questmania? Questmania is supposed to be, like, TrackMania wanted to do a role-play game, basically.
Most cheaters that have been caught were cheating offline runs, but some had dared to do it during live competition. The most infamous case is from the player Zerko. The story is set around 2014, when Zerko started to set insanely good times on tech maps. His skill didn't go unnoticed, and he even joined the team BX3. However, this didn't go well for too long, when players started to question his times. On July 2014, a cup called THC Solo Cup 3 was played in time attack mode on a server, and Zerko tried to qualify. After an intense battle for first place on the map Black Mind, Zerko set a time with an abnormally fast sector. Pro players like Coens tryharded for hours to beat his sector, but after analyzing the replay itself, it was clear he was using a boost hack, gaining some speed on parts where he shouldn't. Zerko's time was removed, and he eventually got banned after this incident. There's another case in a TMNF back in early 2017, where the player Strober cheated during an
I heard about that.
time attack competition. He was caught using no wall friction, which made him not lose any speed on landings and wallbangs. On the 5th January 2017, Virtual uploaded a now unlisted video.
Ah, that's why I know it about. But about the Zerko things, wait a second. Shorty TrackMania uploaded a video of that. Wow, where's Shorty's channel? Ach, yick. Guys, how's Shorty's channel called? Wait, it's Toby Rouge. Okay, wait. Toby Rouge. Bro. Why is it so hard to find Shorty on YouTube? Huh? Ah. Did now it. Yick. Ah, there it is. Okay, so Shorty uploaded a video that he had unlisted for like ages, where you can see a comparison. Oh my God, like, if you play close attention, he's already literally gaining on the very start block. Look at this. Like a millimeter, you know? So he has like minor speed hack things. And Shorty also said his lines in general don't make sense and stuff. So he only cheated like a tiny little bit, but people still noticed it. Interestingly. Okay, back to the video.
Top Yannick's new Lunatics.
Top Yannick's new Lunatic. No idea, never heard of that.
Quote-unquote social experiment being done by a notable TrackMania community member. The player created
classic. People doing shit and then calling it social experiment.
Called Top Yannick. He was known for creating the Lunatic Extreme map series back in 2008 to 2012.
Okay, those maps I know.
Which is one of the most
also,
popular
Opokopolis, thanks for the 2-year resub.
Containing 44 maps. Top Yannick
really
quit
cool
the
map
game
series.
shortly after building his last Lunatic Extreme and hasn't returned since. That is until 2020, when he supposedly came back with a message in the official TrackMania Discord. He basically just explained his absence and said that his hard drive died, which means that he lost access to all of his old accounts. Following that, he quickly started
a shit prank, honestly.
Lunatic Extremes and had 11 new maps ready, which he had community members validate for him. After that, Sinto organized a server with the 11 maps and made a huge event with €100 prize money from his own pocket. A lot of people participated and hunted the maps. Most people believe the impersonation impersonator, since the tracks he built were really convincing and had the exact same vibe as the old maps, but some people had a doubt in their mind whether it was actually him, since he acted pretty strange at times, like being extremely angry when people spectated on his server instead of driving, even going so far as to kicking the spectators, and that he couldn't stand it when people insulted each other. 2 weeks after he came back, however, the player revealed himself and apologized to the community.
Nah, that's not a prank, that's just stupid.
Block mix
Stupid kid behavior.
Maps. In some maps of the TrackMania Turbo campaign, there is some very obvious usage of block mixing. As you can see, trees and
I know that.
out of some turrets. The funny
I
part
know
about
that, I know
this
that. I
is
even
you
noticed it
cannot
when I was
manipulate
playing Team
block mix
Turbo.
in TrackMania Turbo. The campaign is full of it. You can, however, natively block mix in TM2, but its campaigns show little to no usage of block mixing.
Virtual skipper or ads.
Oh, virtual skipper.
Many of the scenery blocks in TrackMania have advertisements for Virtual Skipper, a sailing game made by Nadeo, made before TrackMania. The series has 7 games. The latest installment, called Virtual Skipper Online, was released in
I've never played this.
2008.
Dupe times on 88. For an unknown reason, in TrackMania Turbo's map 88, there are a dozen of duplicate times which makes it into the PC top 10, all ending with the digit 666. These times have never been removed and no other tracks has shown anything similar. To put this into perspective, 3 or 4 way ties are extremely uncommon for top 10 times, only happening once or twice per campaign. These times come from a myriad of regions, almost confirming that they are, in fact, real runs. But a 12 way ties seems extremely improbable. Best bet is demonic interversions. It also seems that a 41.552 is very common on that map. More on that later.
Crazy. Okay.
Uberbug on flat land.
Oh yeah, I know
With
that.
how the Uberbug works, you may think that the car needs to collide with a wall to do this trick. However, by doing a very powerful bug slide with a particular angle, it is possible to get a Uberbug even on a flat surface.
I've never seen that on Stadium. What the fuck is this?
Needs to collide with a wall to do this trick. However, by doing a very powerful bug slide with a particular angle, it is possible to get a Uberbug even on a flat surface. This happens due to the car slightly clipping inside the surface with its back wheel for a small amount of time, like a classic Uber does on a wall.
Yo.
Blue ground mapping bug. In TMNF and TM2, there are blocks that, when placed, turn the grass below it into a blue surface similar to a normal road. When you place a corner of this block set and place a ceiling on top of it, the blue ground extends outside of the walls. When this map is validated, the blue surface is there, but when you or someone else later opens the validated map, the blue ground is changed back to grass. Because the car's acceleration on grass is much lower than on the blue surface,
you can set impossible
to set impossible author times or to validate maps that are impossible to finish afterwards.
Okay, didn't know that.
Map styles in TrackMania Turbo and TM2. You are all probably familiar with the names AU1 Race, A12 Speed, EU5 Endurance from TMNF, which is the only game where map names have this little extension describing the style of the map. In TM2, a regular pattern of map styles can be observed and has also been confirmed by the mapper: Discovery, Speed, Obstacle, Tech and Multilap. A similar pattern can be seen in TrackMania Turbo, which is confirmed by the game's file.
I did
All
know
the
that.
number 1 tracks are Discovery.
I don't know, can I...
Then Show Off, Tech, Multilap, Discovery,
I don't know, Iridium.
Show Off again, with the exception of 128, which is Speed, Speed Tech and Multilap, excluding the final blacks.
Interesting. Didn't know that. Okay, we're going deeper, guys. Monka.
We are diving really deep into the game's lore, and yet we still haven't reached the last level. Only unknown, creepy, or strange oddities remains.
Why is he making it like a horror things? Yuck.
TrackMania 2 Lagoon before TrackMania Turbo. TrackMania 2 Lagoon was released the year after TrackMania Turbo did, but due to the nature of the Super Solo campaign in TrackMania Turbo, a build was needed to be made that was compatible with Mania Planet so that pros could drive the STM types. This is also the reason why the STM replays were all driven in TrackMania 2 and known in the actual TrackMania Turbo game.
Fake TrackMania game.
Lars.
If you search for
TrackMania
Online around the mid
oh my god, TrackMania Online.
A game called Track Racing Online. This is a counterfeit version of TrackMania Nations Forever.
This is so wholly ugly.
Look at it. You can play for free directly into your web browser. There is also a downloadable version as well as an Android app. It seems as though the majority of the ripped TrackMania content has been removed due to copyright. though you used to be able to play a few of the campaign maps within the game.
What is this? It starts with AO2, then AO3, then A5, forgot the 0, and then AO6 again.
Truly maxed maps by humans. With the continued development of task records, the human world record is usually far behind the tasks, even on short maps like AO5 or A10 in TMNF.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Some of the first ESWC solo tracks, such as A5 and A7, the maps are so simple that they're believed to be truly maxed by humans.
Nah, but this one isn't, right?
Only being able to type
never mind, yeah, true.
TrackMania 2 action keys. There are options in the input settings of TrackMania 2 that displays action keys 1 to 4, just like in TrackMania 2020, except the action key 5, which is missing in TrackMania 2. However,
but they don't work, right?
those buttons don't do anything in this game.
Buttons?
These are only useful in Shootmania and are used to rapidly switch between weapons.
I didn't know that.
Given that Team 2020 was based on Mania Planet, Nadeo simply used the same buttons for the game. This is probably a holdover from when Nadeo were testing new mechanics.
Oh, they copied so much from TrackMania 2, it's actually crazy.
Checkpoint times aren't real. For a competitive racing game, you might be under the assumption that, above all else, the timer is king. TrackMania would surprise you. The in-game timer in TM2 games tends to guess when it comes to split times. If you're ahead by a few milliseconds, the game often might say you're behind nearly 100th. This could be due to an overuse in rounding. Both your time and the goals you race against could be rounded for a checkpoint split, but this still doesn't explain why some split times can be drastically different. Also, if you cross a checkpoint on the same thousandth as the goals you're racing, the split will display a difference of your race time instead of an even split.
Obsolete flags and cars. The flags of
countries
and thus their custom cars in Stadium are not updated. This can show old or obsolete flags for particular countries. One example of this is the flag of Iraq in Nations Forever. The flag changed 3 months before the release of the game, and as a result the new flag appears in the menus. Weirdly though, this change was not extended to the country's car, making you unable to drive with the current flag of Iraq. Another example is the solid green flag of Libya. Despite the Libyan flag changing in 2011, the car and flag of Libya were not changed for the 2013 release of TM2 Stadium. This is peculiar, since some cars like Serbia and Montenegro were removed when they became obsolete. As a quick aside,
the country's so often changing flags.
Posted to Reddit, the picture shown on the right hand side for the shallow depths is not obsolete. This is the extremely obscure flag of the Caribbean community, an alliance of countries in the Caribbean area that's been around since the 70s. Whilst Nadeo did their homework for this flag before. In ESWC, the general work for the flags is not up to par.
Wait,
in a future video, we will discuss all the
noticed that
the
countries change flag.
TrackMania game.
Okay.
Nobody has 597 hours on TrackMania 2. Under your profile in TrackMania 2, there is a stats tab which displays some interesting stats such as your time playing the game, your reset and finish count, your most played map, etc. However, no time related stats will ever read a value above roughly 597 hours. This is because the time is measured in milliseconds and stored as a 32-bit integer. The maximum 32-bit number is a little over 2 billion. Converting to hours gives you 596.
That makes no surprise though.
Once past this limit, the timer will warp to minus 596.5 hours, at which it will start to climb up again.
AO1 no SD world record uses SD.
But the mime guy.
This is referring to the fact that the current no SD world
that.
record on AO1 does a small SD on the final uphill of the map. Despite the category, this suggesting the map.
Am I the only one in TMNF who is like no SD record, no cut word record? Like, why? I never understood the point of those.
This category was rather intended to be driven without the S4D, and probably should be called A1, no S4D.
Platform author times. The platform mode is a game mode where you need to complete the track with the least amount of respawns possible. It is the only official game mode where you cannot obtain an author medal. Instead, beating the number of respawns the author did in validation will only give you a gold medal. If you look into the map's file, you will find an author time and a number of respawns. For example, Platform E's author time is 7 minutes, 26 seconds and 13 thousandths. This strongly suggests that Nadeo respawned more than once, since the map is about 3 minutes.
Nadeo equals cheaters is really bad.
Since the number of respawns for bronze, silver and gold are always the same, it is very likely that Nadeo themselves have not finished all the maps without respawning, and instead put in the medals manually.
Cheaters. Really mad actually. Sunspinks knew that Riolu was cheating, right? Or something.
Sunspinks was a former TMF cheater who entered called out Riolu and Techno for cheating on TMX map comment sections all the way back in 2015. At the
Wait, what? Techno bad map Riolu. There goes the second oldest Nadeo world record. Sunspinks. It's very strangely that you know record on Bay A2 Axel. Works Bay A2 not so good with slow motion driving?
No, for cheating on TMX map comment sections all the way back in 2015. At the time, no input extraction methods had yet been discovered. He probably didn't say that as a joke, since during the cheating scandal, Nadeo found out that
I know. Riolu was used to called Accelerator.
Besides, his accusation
not Accelerator, Accelerator,
which was uploaded in late 2008.
Interesting.
So maybe he called them out because he knew from his experience.
Slurs in Nadeo
cheater calls another cheater, and no one believes it.
The contents of an official
Wait, stop. What was it about? Slurs in Nadeo tutorial.
Within the contents of an official Nadeo tutorial for creating
the fuck?
Custom stickers lies an unexpected little slur. 2011 was a different time, I suppose.
Yick.
Monthly environments. This is referring to a 2010 forum post from the time Mania Planet was released, where Hylas announced that it would see a new environment every 3 months, cycling through TrackMania, Shootmania and Questmania.
Dude, imagine a new environment with new physics and all that shit every 3 months.
Environments were expected to be released over the game's lifetime.
Jesus
In reality,
Christ.
however,
monthly.
5 environments were released over 7 years.
They wanted to do monthly. Overall, we had 5 in like 8 years.
Countdown animation.
Countdown animation. Like, that's such a bad thing with Nadeo. Like, they spend so many resources on starting to develop things and then never finish them. Like, now, at some point, when you think about that, like how often they did that in the past, it makes sense that they have 50 employees and still nothing is happening.
To get bigger as they fade out of view. On all subsequent runs, however, the countdown digits all appear at the same size, without any fading animation. This difference is so subtle that it took even active players years to figure it out.
Interesting.
Dead option. In the skin selection menu in TrackMania 2, pressing the M button will show a menu which allows you to see the car in different conditions. This is mainly used by skin makers, as it's an easy way to reload the car, see the car in the night, see the lights of the car, etc. One of these options is called Dead and shows the car disappear the exact same way as TM2020 car does when being crushed by royal blocks. In TM2020, you may also get
Kuna, by the way, thanks for the resub.
Disconnect due to packet loss. While this animation is not used in TM2 itself, it is used in Shootmania when killing another character on a car item.
Yeah, from there I know it as well, Lars. Oh, Riolu?
Riolu was asked to send his replays to give some help to players in the track.
Oh, Ender guy!
Riolu was asked to send...
Riolu sends replay, Ender thumbs up. Do you mind sending 397 as well? Riolu sends.
Give some help to players in the TrackMania Turbo community. However, when people checked his replays on track 61, they found out that one of the replays contained the N-word.
Yuck. This is honestly what Lars says. This is not special for Riolu. Riolu used that so many times. There's also so many clips and pictures where he was using it on a server or something. Like even in YouTube videos from himself.
In August
he used it so much.
A player created a map using the new features added by Nadeo that gives the possibility to players to use mixed mapping. They created a map using that and gave it to their team, at the time saying that this could be a Zerati map. Unfortunately, that's after creating the map. Fast forward to February 2015 when Zerator came back to TrackMania announcing the return of the Zerati TrackMania Cup. He asked the community to send him maps to be part of the official map pack of the cup. As an homage to the recently dead player, the team sent the map to Zerator, telling him that the player will have loved to be part of the cup, and Zerator accepted. The map was then even played during the final of the cup. However, it turned out that the player faked their death. The team then told Zerator, who erased the map from the cup's history, and he even deleted the VOD of him discussing the map. The player got banned from the cup.
What an idiot.
201
why would people do this?
If you make use of the next map option from the in-game menu, the medal times that will load on the next map will be the times from the previous map. If you then manage to beat these glitched STM, gold, silver or bronze times, you will be rewarded an extra medal. which is how you can get 201 Super Trackmasters. It is worth mentioning that the medal is reset back to normal once you leave the map.
Okay, didn't know that.
Nadeo accused of moral harassment.
Oh, I do know that. Holy moly, that was kind of Nadeo drama.
Nadeo studio head Florent Castelnerac, aka Hillis, was accused of inappropriate workplace conduct by the French union Solidaires. In the prior months, this union made a call on Twitter asking for workers to come forward with any claims of harassment in the workplace. Dozens responded, and according to the union, those accounts were credible enough to call for Hillis' dismissal. One worker was quoted as saying, "A colleague was yelled at for 20 minutes. It's lynching in public." Another, 80% of your work is to be put in the trash. If I wanted to look at something good, I won't come to see you. Once even said, he would cry the
dude, Hillis, holy moly.
To interactions with Hillis in the workplace. In the following year,
Nadeo
it was
down.
reported by multiple outlets that
Jesus
Ubisoft,
Christ.
and by extension Nadeo, had made minimal internal changes addressing the allegations, mostly half days of mandatory training. As of 2023, there have been no further developments outside of some small drama.
No, now Hillis is just back and everything back as usual.
To remove the controversy from Nadeo's Wikipedia page.
Who?
09 STM is lost.
One employee just wanted to go to Wikipedia, was like, nah, we delete the bad things. Yuck.
When TrackMania Turbo came out, the infamous player Riolu uploaded every single STM run to YouTube. Shortly after, he shared all the replays with the community except one. In fact, he lost the replay of the STM on map 09, so we only have access to the video but not the replay file and all the information it contains, such as CPU splits and inputs.
Even for Riolu, the things were
Munzi
just
is probably the most mysterious TrackMania player of all time. He started playing RPG in 2012 and quickly became one of the best RPG players ever, but suddenly retired and became a full-time spectator. He spent hours in spectator mode on a server called Skill RPG, and he wasn't even AFK. He was actually spectating the people and was active in chat. He has 12,500 hours on that server. That's 520 days on one TrackMania server. The only time he would drive is when a new map got added to the server. While he was spectating, he would always help the players and give them tips on how to improve on the map. Even after all the years that Munzi has been active, nobody knows anything personal about him. If you asked him anything even remotely personal, he would always respond with NA. You asked him about his age? NA. You asked him how his day was? NA. You were basically unable to get an answer if it was something about him. He also used to only talk in /PM or with a slash in front of the message, so that his messages would not appear in public chat logs. There was also an account supposedly stalking Munzi called Elisabeth Neumeier. Munzi would talk normally in chat, but whenever that account joined the server, he started writing in /PM or just left the server completely. Elisabeth Neumeier never talked in chat. The account would only join servers where Munzi was playing. Munzi also had this passive-aggressive behavior, where he would seem rude when talking about literally anything. There was also drama between Munzi and the Skill RPG owner Dave. Dave claimed that Munzi tried to DDoS the server and ended up blacklisting Munzi. While all of this is weird already, now comes the weirdest thing. In early 2020, a TrackMania player called Christina started regularly playing on RPG servers, and that's when Munzi and
I love the German pronunciation by Schmanuel. Christina.
They started talking a lot. At first it was normal, but things got weirder and weirder as time went on. They started being AFK on the server 24/7, with their cars facing each other at random spots around the map. At some point, Munzi and Christina even ended up creating a half language. Basically English, but they had their own made-up words that nobody apart from them understood. And that's how they communicated. They were active every day until suddenly, on the 21st December 2020, they connected to the game for the last time, and then vanished forever. They both left the server at the exact same second, roughly 5 minutes to midnight. Nobody has had contact with them since. Christina went on to cut contact with every track.
Sounds like a horror story.
There's a lot of theories about Munzi. He could be the second account of a former best Russian RPG player called Realized 2. Realized 2 was very active, but suddenly disappeared on the 4th March.
That's honestly kinda creepy.
Munzi set his first RPG record 8 days later. Or perhaps he didn't leave at all and is hiding in the shadows, even watching this video right now. Type 1 in chat if you're here, Munzi.
TrackMania 2006 World Cup final footage is lost.
Oh yeah, true, I know that.
The first TrackMania World Cup happened at ESWC in 2006 in Paris. Even if we have screenshots of the events with the results, the actual footage of the final seems...
Man, how is it possible that in 2006 World Cup we had events like this, and 2023 we don't have anything?
The events with the results
maybe I don't know.
The final seems to be lost since it can be found on the internet.
Okay.
There are, however, a couple of leads towards footage of the final. First, someone in Eric Oldal's comment sections claimed that they have the recorded footage on their hard drive, but never answered Eric's PM. And secondly, while he's researching for the iceberg, we found a video on Dailymotion.
Absolute mystery gifts up to Munzi.
Thank you. The final round of the final. But the video bugged out and is inaccessible to this day. We asked the Dailymotion staff and they say that they couldn't do anything about it. So maybe we lost the last piece of footage of the final 17 years after this happened.
Especially because World Cup 2006 people played without drifting.
Final, please contact me on Discord.
People didn't know drifting was a thing.
It would be sad if this piece of history was lost forever. TrackMania 2 Communities Auto-Moderation. When the cheating report was published, players from all games obviously wanted the cheated records to be removed. While this did happen for TMUF after a few weeks, it took dozens of requests and about 6 months for Nadeo to only partially do the same in TrackMania 2. This, in combination with new cheaters showing up, caused the community to become increasingly exhausted and frustrated with Nadeo not taking any actions. Unhappy with Nadeo's lack of handling of cheated records, the community set out to find a way to moderate the records themselves. As it turns out, TrackMania 2 does actually have an anti-cheat. It's just very bad. Although unable to detect records driven in slow motion or with modified lap count, what it does flag as cheated records are physics change, teleporting, and not to forget posing. By using one of
the very obvious stuff.
Even, a previously cheated record can be overwritten. On a next daily anti-cheat scan, this results in both the original and new cheated ones being removed.
What is this on the left there?
Discovered, a discussion took place in one of the biggest TrackMania 2 hunting solo Discord, where most, if not all, the top 10 solo hunters reside. The question was asked whether people would want such a solution to be implemented or used. The majority of the players agreed on the method being used. To avoid explaining how to cheat to cheaters,
when the community has to moderate the official leaderboards because Nadeo is not doing anything.
To admit to their mistakes and hand over their login information to Meeb so he could remove the cheated records. Removing the cheated runs thus happened with full consent of the cheaters. As controversial as this solution may seem, this made everyone happy because the community could play on way cleaner leaderboards.
50 employees, Nadeo, and they cannot lead some cheated runs because they're busy developing stuff that will never get released.
Nadeo was more open to the community's
they're still busy with Questmania.
The community made method is now no longer used to manage the
yeah, surely it's not 50 employees, but still, like...
This is the end of the show.
Not 50 developers, but still.
Before we discuss the last layer of the iceberg, let's mark a brief pause by talking about some additional information. During the research for this whole iceberg, we found and also received from the community some additional facts to add. We decided to create a honorable mentions category that regroups pretty much all this extra information. These facts aren't in any order, nor they aren't especially hidden information, so sit back and enjoy this bonus shot of TrackMania lore.
Cisco has like 5, not even 10.
In TrackMania 2,
Cisco is literally 5, fucking wealth.
It's crazy. When you retire, you see for 2 frames your session time, and by mashing your retire button, you can barely see it. Again, in TrackMania 2, if you retire the exact moment you cross the finish line, the game will make you exit the map and return to the menu instead of showing you the time or just make you retire. The official club for Nadeo's employees in TrackMania 2020 is named Nando. By
Nadeo named their own club Nando.
The player Esgar found a scrap of code suggesting that XP was planned for TM 2020. This code for now isn't used in the game. During the alpha phase, streamers were able to show the game before the release, and we can see on the track of the day picture a tiny logo of the football club on the background. During the first TrackMania Grand League competition in 2019, the servers were called TMCL for TrackMania Champions League. This name was the original name of TrackMania Grand League that maybe got changed for legal reasons? Who knows? In TrackMania 2, all maps have a flag next to the names to know what the country of the map builder is. Nadeo maps show world map here, except in some rare cases where the flag shown is the French flag, because, well, Nadeo is French. In TrackMania Turbo, the maps are represented by a thumbnail. The map files themselves contain a square thumbnail, but only a portion of this is shown in the game itself. Just like every other game in the world, there are some unused assets, and TrackMania is not an exception. We have discussed before about a female driver that wasn't used back when the game got released, but is now part of the game. With Open Planet, you can extract games files showing even more unused assets, some of which were clearly temporarily placeholders. For example, these logos in TrackMania Turbo.
As mentioned in a previous entry, the snow car has an interesting behavior while under the no grip effect. This allows for a whole new way of driving this car with many different tricks that can visually look like
what the fuck is this?
But are done very differently. Sadly, this style is only available
never seen that before.
All 4 TM2 games or if you have Valley and play the TM1 Alpine title pack.
Okay. Most TrackMania players are accustomed to the exchange sites for the various TrackMania games that allow users to upload and share content.
Music.
In spite of this, most people, including some MX staff, are unaware that for a short period of time, an exchange site existed for TrackMania Turbo. Due to the underwhelming multiplayer features of TrackMania Turbo, implementing an exchange site proved difficult and the site was shut down within 6 months of release. Sheer lack of interest in the offshoot title definitely didn't help. Currently, Turbo record skipping is relegated to those willing to maintain mostly manual leaderboards such as the TMT spreadsheet and Marcel's webpage. Meeb is a TrackMania 2 player that overuses the horns to the point that some of the runs he drives are barely watchable. He has even used a script that spams the horn during the entire run. The best example of this is his EO5 value world record.
Oh yeah, this one is terrible. And look at the skin, like he actually drove it like this. It's 16 minutes long. Holy fuck.
There is a file that contains all translated words used in the game. If your game is another language, let's say French, then the game checks every word present in the file and translates it. And this includes even nicknames. As a result, if your game is in French and someone's named themselves the exact way a word is written in the file, for example editors, then their name will be shown as éditeur, the French translation of editors. The rise of TASes in the recent years showed really crazy tricks that can only be possible with the help of the TAS tool. Tricks such as the nose boost, but also the turtle Uber bug, the freewheel skip using one wheel of the ram of the freewheel block, all the start tricks in Stadium, Island and Snow, the list goes on. In TrackMania 2,
that's in the deepest layers?
The solo map, so there is a screen that shows you a skill point gain. However, if you lose points by being beaten from the moment you launch the track and you get a new PB and win fewer points that you lost, then you trigger a rare situation that shows your SP gain and it shows the animation as you lose points. Very rarely, Nadeo use custom blocks on their solo maps.
This is honorable mentions, true.
The TrackMania 2 Stadium DO4 don't contain the signs on the site, or D12 using a variant not present in a set of blocks. While editing part 2 of the iceberg, we wanted to use footage of a bug that made some blocks drive through, especially in the map AO4 in Canyon. However, we couldn't find any replays or video of the bug, so we tried to replicate the bug by playing against a run that was driven in old physics. But when finishing the run, Mifsua's run actually counted and was sent to the leaderboards, crushing his own world record. This faulty world record got deleted since. But that was pretty funny. Maybe not for me though. If you check United Forever's leaderboards, you can find some strange accounts. For example, if you check the Nigerian leaderboards, you will find a dozen accounts called over 9,000, where all the top 10 of these accounts are the exact same, seemingly belonging to the same player. There are also many accounts called Only Jesus Christ Saves You.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
In many languages across many countries.
I remember that. I thought they would speak about 92 pop. Okay, now the bottom layer. Let's see. Let's see if I know anything.
To the game's lore, and finally, we have touched the bottom.
Okay, I know. I already saw one that I know at least.
Strange oddities remains this deep.
Okay.
Taiwan is under China.
Dude, this is actually kind of wild. I knew this. This is kind of wild.
Despite
looking at the situation there.
State, Taiwan, also known as the Republic
it's like if China, Ukraine was under Russia.
China region in the region select menus of TrackMania. This might be since the country that Nadeo is from, France, does not recognize Taiwan's independence from China. Similarly, Hong Kong is also considered part of China in some menus. Additionally, in older games it is impossible to select certain countries like Sudan, Barbados and Moldova, despite them being fully recognized countries at the game's release.
Gambia leaderboards.
What is Gambia?
While researching the duplicate times on TrackMania Turbo map 88, the leaderboards in Gambia turned out to be even more interesting. There were not just a handful of duplicate times there, but hundreds, filling up the entire top 1,000 that can be retrieved. Even more interestingly, this turned out to be the case not just on 88, but on every map until 164, after which the leaderboards are suddenly completely empty. Looking at the actual players on the Gambia leaderboard, there are about 2,000 players with a seemingly randomly generated username, all with the same overall rank of 10,568. While Turbo's unfortunate leaderboard system does not allow for directly linking public records with accounts, the logical conclusion is that all these accounts have the exact same times on all of those maps. After some further digging, more duplicate times and accounts in other countries were found as well, although this time with more normal looking usernames. In total,
Nadeo randomly adding players to increasing the player number.
Why? In the original case of map 88, the duplicate times can still be attributed to chance, even though a very small one. But for thousands of accounts, there clearly must be something else at play. Some theories are a very odd database bug, bots, hacked accounts, or even some sort of achievement service where people can pay for accounts.
Artificial growth. Yeah, artificial was the word I was looking for.
None of these
Thank
theories
you.
provide a fully satisfying answer, though.
Interesting.
Je te hais on TMNF code.
Je te hais.
In TrackMania Nations Forever code, there is a class named CVC6 Je te hais. Je te hais is French for I hate you. It is unknown why this class is named like this. The CVC6 prefix is not used in any other classes or function in the game code either. It seems like they've got a bit mad during the development.
That was a joke, by the way. No shit here.
Drift in Stadium wasn't intended.
Oh, that I think many people know that, don't they?
When Stadium first released,
Ender.
Nations ESWC in
this is so interesting, though.
Drift
like, all cool things about Stadium were not intended by Nadeo.
That is nowadays so commonly used wasn't even supposed to be a thing. This is supported by the fact that the other metal ghosts do not drift. A proof to support this is a bench replay from TMN ESWC using beta stadium physics with insane grip, physics extremely similar to the bay environment from Sunrise,
real clip
that you never needed to drift to take any corner.
Yep. And the funny thing is, people took like a year to find it out. As I said earlier, in the very first World Cup in TrackMania in 2006, people were literally not drifting. Like, maybe that's why the footage is lost, because it looks so shit.
XMPP chats.
It's interesting.
XMPP, standing for Extensible Messaging and Presence Protocol, is a chatting protocol that allows people to talk with each other. It works by having clients connected to servers, which are connected among themselves. This allows people from a server to send messages to other people from any server if it's properly configured. It can also be used to make private chats, by simply not connecting your server to the others. That's what is used in Mania Planet to chat using the Friends menu. However, a little known feature allows you to get your credentials to use them in another XMPP software, such as phone applications like Astro Chat. You can then send messages to your friend without even being in-game, and you will appear in-game with a special status once to chat.
I've never heard that before.
All countdowns are different. In TrackMania 2 and the following games, the 3-to-1 countdown at the start of each race is not the same every time. The time between restarting and go will vary by approximately a tenth of a second. It's assumed that this feature is meant to combat players using simple macros to TAS a run. For example, one could create a script that starts when the restart key is pressed, then wait 3 seconds, and then macro the entire run. Because the 3 seconds is inconsistent, however, such a script wouldn't work. This was seemingly not the case in the earlier games, and the countdowns are consistent to the frame.
Interesting.
Trees are always watching. This entry refers to the many types of foliage found around TrackMania maps. Some of these are not 3D modeled, rather they are flat 2-dimensional sprites, which always point towards the player,
that looks creepy.
saving memory and processing power. This is easier to spot in certain environments, such as the shrubbery in Valley and Canyon.
Trees are always
textures, which will always raise the player, can be found in many other games.
That's kind of creepy.
It does result
with that music, I'm getting goosebumps.
When looking directly down and moving the camera up and down on the sprites, they will instantly spin 180 to face the player.
Interesting.
Loading times aren't real.
Loading times on TrackMania 2 are not real. You heard that right. If you try and make use of cheat engine and speed up the game during a loading screen, the amount of time that the loading takes will actually end up being faster, as well as making the game slower. This means that the loading times in TM2 are partially skippable. The loading times are artificially extended so that everyone regardless of their computer has the same loading time. However,
Okay, makes
if you
sense,
accelerate your game, the artificial time added by the game will be shortened.
Boah, so Riolo even took longer in the loading time.
Will be the time it takes your computer to
Unlucky.
load the game normally.
TrackMania isn't deterministic. Before you freak out, yes, TrackMania is by definition deterministic, but it's not actually perfectly deterministic. On the same map, the same inputs will result in the same run, but you need the exact same map. On some occasions, when you add a random block somewhere else on the map, a place where your car never interacts with it, the same inputs do not result in the same replay. Moreover, when you copy a map and rotate it to face a different direction, the inputs will also stray away from a perfect copy of the last run, despite having the exact same inputs. Even actions as arbitrary as moving your mouse on the screen or pressing inputs that aren't even binded can break runs on press-forward maps entirely. So, while TrackMania is functionally deterministic, it isn't as perfect as you may think.
Ain't no way.
Post-apocalyptic scenario on Mania Planet and Turbo Theory. This is a theory.
Training? Ach, stimmt. Ja. Was essen wir denn heute? Ich habe Nudeln gekocht. Okay. Die Soße, ja. Okay, bis dann. Hab dich lieb.
Theory
okay, so what is this?
Turbo Theory.
Post-apocalypse. What?
This is a theory first published online by Accursed Farm and Ross Game Dungeon in their review of TrackMania 2 Canyon. Ross's theory says that there was a group of billionaires who were having a giant midlife crisis. The billionaires built an insane racetrack so they could watch their remote cars do crazy stunts, flips, etc. However, after the mega racetracks were built, an apocalypse swept across the world, leaving their automated robocars racing on these tracks. And this is the end of the iceberg.
Hey, give me that mic. Give me, guys, listen, I'm here to tell you the real lore of TrackMania. Okay, so these games are obviously set in a post-apocalyptic future, with TrackMania Original and the environments in United Forever being the closest to reality compared to the ones that are going to come later. TrackMania itself experienced a global explosion in popularity, especially in the realm of extreme motorsport. As time progresses, things become more and more extreme. This leads to Turbo down the line. Now, if you listen closely, you can still faintly hear cheers in the background whenever you start a race. We can assume that these cheers are real, and that they're coming from crowds in the same place, that being the wastelands of the world. But if the world is lost, how are we racing? Well, just look at the stadium, the most technologically advanced thing we've ever created. As it was told to us by the game, the engineers found a legal loophole within the laws of gravity that exempted it from such a thing. And who made the stadium? Who made it? Well, based off the signs and the architecture, we can confidently say that the stadium is, or rather was, in Japan. Word of this advancement spreads. More people learn how to ignore gravity, all in the name of TrackMania, all in the name of speed. It's almost like a cult of sorts. First, from Japan, it goes west, spreads to China with Lagoon. Then it travels north a bit, and then into the depths of Russia with Valley, before crossing over the entire European continent, over the Atlantic, and ending up in the Grand Canyon in Arizona in the United States. Unfortunately, this new technology was a little too successful and caused the atmosphere to drift off into space near these places. And with the vacuum of space being such a threat, the rest of it followed. And soon after, well, the very water was lifted into the cosmos. This is the apocalypse. Which leads us to TrackMania 2, where the only car left with a driver is the stadium car. Presumably, Japan kept working on their pride and joy of the stadium, and to escape their Icarus of speed, sent the thing into outer space. That's why there's no skyline anymore. There's no hills, there's no valleys, there's no villages,
that makes sense.
There's no beaches. Oh, but how can the drivers survive, you ask? Well,
how do you survive without beaches?
Drivers are actually just wearing a highly advanced spacesuit that looks like a racing suit. And the other environments, those are AI controlled. The scale of TrackMania became too much to reasonably expect people to drive these tracks. So AI, artificial intelligence, was developed and set to roam free in these areas, constantly improving little bits at a time. The vegetation, it's all fake. It's strong enough to stop these cars in an instant. Despite them going hundreds of kilometers an hour, it's gotta be made of something extremely strong. Vibranium or something, I guess. I don't know exactly. And the water in each game is some oily substance made by, I don't know, an AI that's gone rogue. It doesn't behave like water. It looks like it, but the properties entirely different. I mean, even the currency, the main currency is called planets. Planets. In such a post-apocalyptic world, it's obvious why that would be the case. And you know that I'm right, because even Hylas tried to buy my silence, and it didn't work. I know Hylas.
I think you've got some explaining to do, my friends. I was going to tell you on the 5th May of 2025, 5 years after TrackMania launch. Now it's all out. I can give you 1 million planets to remove this video.
Tried to buy my silence, and it didn't work. I know the real lore, and now you do too. TrackMania was never just a racing game. It's the apocalypse where there's no Earth and no atmosphere, with thousands of cars racing on ancient, disheveled tracks. I've got more details in the description if you're intrigued, and I'm still not done. There's still more out there, and I will uncover it.
Blah.
Well, as he just said, there is in fact more to uncover because, well, I lied when I said it was the last layer. Let me introduce you to the truly last layer.
There's another one.
And for real this time.
Nah, there's another layer.
To the void.
The void. The mud. Okay, let's see if I know one thing. Wait, there's more, guys. Wow, the video's not ending. There's more. Then we're actually deep in the mud.
Before going any further, let's do a small disclaimer. Everything shown here has been validated by trustworthy sources on a matter who will rename anonymous.
Okay. Okay, well, it sounds like I don't know anything.
TrackMania Sunrise Nvidia trailer.
Doesn't sound familiar.
This trailer was shown at a convention in March 2005 to promote the game and Nvidia's graphic cards. The original footage wasn't
back when TrackMania had
and
sponsors.
Lost in the void for 18 years. Until now.
Blah. Wait, show it. XDDing. Oh. Boah, the music in Sunrise was so good, man. Banger. Nvidia. Interesting. Okay, didn't know that.
Shootmania Gothic.
I don't know that. I don't know Shootmania stuff.
Shootmania Gothic was one of the first Shootmania games Nadeo worked on back in 2008. The game was just a concept that in the end was...
Dude, they had like 10 million Shootmania concepts but didn't release shit.
Storm in 2013.
They only made Storm. There was Cryo, there was Gothic, they didn't do anything.
More Gothic architectural style.
Wait, Ender says there was also Shootmania Paris.
Beta versions.
TrackMania Nation Forever beta versions.
Of TrackMania Nation Forever give yet another insight into the development of the TrackMania games.
I mean, there are different maps. Yeah, okay, that's known because of virtual video.
There are several other small differences, such as thumbnails, map names, and other graphics.
Black 05.
Beta versions and 3 release candidates bridging the gap to the game we know are available for download if you are curious in the description.
Okay, cool.
Stadium Car Alpha models.
I don't know.
These screenshots show some early version of the Stadium Car from 2005.
Okay, interesting. Looks like those old Mercedes racing cars. Do you know, like those really old Mercedes things?
As well as
looks kind of cool.
Of some car skin. A manual recreation of this model with the beta physics
Think a
was made by
Talibird.
Master, although the download and
Looks like generated by ChatGPT.
have been deleted
Kinda
since
true.
for unknown reason. Open Stadium.
Open Stadium.
The same screenshots also show an open stadium and some work-in-progress blocks, such as an arc-shaped checkpoint, blue loopings, and massive Rennstein.
Wow,
Also,
even
what
more.
the hell is that thing in the background of one of the pictures?
Yuck. Massive Randstein. Okay.
Block clip editor.
Block clip editor. I don't know.
While the in-game mesh modeler allows
I just discovered the mesh modeler like 3 days
It is
ago.
not possible to edit the clips connecting blocks to each other. This 2016 version of the mesh modeler shows that this feature could actually have been included, but never was.
Okay.
TrackMania Nation Forever experimental Formula 1 blocks.
Hmm?
These blocks were part of a potential update
Wait!
to TrackMania Nation Forever
That's so
after
cool!
2008. While these more realistic GP blocks
Wait, it's so
never made it into a
nice.
stadium game, similar looking blocks appeared later.
I mean, okay,
in
yeah,
Trackmania
true, looks like
Canyon.
Canyon. How did they not make it in? Yuck. Looks cool though. This would have been
Trackmania
nice, yeah.
And Hot Wheels crossover.
Wait, what?
Back in 2016, Hot Wheels asked several game studios to develop a racing game which featured their
Boah, this would be
cars.
such a...
These
Dude,
modified
imagine Trick... Boah!
solution map
Boah!
suggests
Imagine.
Nadeo shook
Boah!
her hand at this
This would have been so cool.
integrating a Hot Wheels-like track into the
Yeah, I
background.
know, Ender.
In the end, Hot Wheels collaborated with Forza Horizon 3 and Nadeo
Forza!
commented on the matter.
Really mad.
This time, it's actually finished.
Boah, that would have been cool though.
To the ocean floor with
Would have
the
fit so
crushing
well.
weight of all this information on your shoulders.
Okay, we got it all. Damn. Or is there more? Outro, okay.
And now, when part 4 you might say, well, I will release a full-length iceberg video that will contain all the corrected parts of this trilogy in one big video sometime after this video, but I don't know when yet.
Damn.
That being said, thank
That
you
will
for
be
watching
some work.
this whole iceberg.
Wow,
As
what an
always,
amazing video,
if you have
man.
any
Holy
question,
moly.
Feel free to ask them in the comments.
Damn,
We'll be here to
damn,
answer.
damn.
Feel free to subscribe.
And this is
to
only
the
part
next
1.
project
Or
planned
like
for
part
this
3, but
channel.
there are
Thanks
2
again
more
for all
parts.
the support
Crazy, man.
through the last year with this project.
Crazy,
We
crazy,
are
crazy.
truly blessed by everyone who watched, shared, talked about, reacted to, etc.
Alright, ladies
This
and
project
gentlemen,
couldn't
once
be done
again,
without you. We
make
also
sure
really
to...
appreciate all the people who gave their voice and time into the project.
Okay, wait, let's
and
first of
more
all finish the
importantly,
outro.
All the iceberg crew. See you in the next one and have a great day.
Here we see all the people involved again. Let's just watch it. Just to see how many people took... Riolu! Yuck. XTT. Just look how many people, man. Holy moly. We're like involved. Crazy. Okay, once again, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to check out Lufok. He's making insane content. Give him a sub. Also, once again, reminder, there's also a part 1 and part 2. I will not watch them on stream because I did already watch them, but make sure to watch them yourself. Very, very good videos. And yeah, that was the TrackMania iceberg. I still knew a couple of things from the third part, but not that much anymore, to be fair. But like some things were really, really interesting, honestly. Yeah, what a nice video. Holy moly. Alright, but we quickly have to hurry up a little bit because we only have 3 minutes until cup of today.